listener, welcome back. We're here for another Q&A. Anything that I say is not going to replace your medical care or cure you. Check with your doctor before implementing any of these suggestions, these alternative natural suggestions. So that's my disclaimer, and I'm sticking to it. Steve, what's the latest? What's going on over there?
Well, as you know, we have all sorts of wonderful things each week on the show. We have our quiz questions, which are very exciting. We have a brilliant audience that answers them quickly. We have people in the green room. And then, of course, your monologues and all of social media. We really love hearing from them. But in this case, we've got one person participating, Glory. I'm not going to try to say her last name, but I do know she's from Pennsylvania. She's a school teacher, and she has a little monster somehow in the back room. So we're going to get to her first so that she can get back to the very noble work that she does in educating America's youth. And with that, Glory, you're on with Dr. Berg.
Hi, Dr. Berg. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
My question is, my alkaline phosphatase have been very elevated for 3 years now, and they've been treating me with a prescription called uracil, and it's to water down the bile because they said it's backing up back into my system. I've had many tests, many blood work, and no one can tell me exactly what's causing that. So I want to heal my body naturally. And that's why I'm coming to you, because I love your videos and I admire everything that you do.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. When did you first notice, what kind of symptom did you initially notice to find out, wow, I need to go test my liver?
I just went for regular blood work 3 years ago. And
so you had really no symptoms?
No. And still no symptoms. My weight goes up and down. I'm 118 now, but I went up to 137. It comes back down to 120. So I don't know if the weight has anything to do with it as well.
Okay. And did they find, they just found this positive enzyme liver problem, but they didn't do any other test, right?
They did tests on my bones to see if it was a bone disease. They said that either it's a bone disease or liver disease. They're calling it liver disease, but because they can't give me a diagnosis, they're calling it fatty liver disease. But that's not really what I have.
Okay. So one thing about the liver is it really doesn't give you any symptoms until later. So it's kind of good that this showed up just so you can start working on your liver. The liver is the only organ that can completely 100% rejuvenate. It's rough, it's rugged. So I would start taking milk thistle right away. That's one thing. And TUDCA, which will help to thin the bile, because that liver enzyme is usually involved with a backup of more of the bile ducts and the TUDCA is a natural way of thinning the bile, but then the milk thistle will actually protect the liver and bring down those enzymes. And then, of course, I'm assuming you're doing the healthy version of ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. Hopefully you are. And you can.
Well, I've been intermittent fasting all my life and didn't even know it. So, because I don't eat lunch until maybe 12, 1.
That's great. That's great. If you get on a ketogenic diet, you're going to find your liver enzymes probably will be much, much better in a couple of months, because reducing the carbs is going to take a big stress off the inflammation in the liver. And one thing that's cool, if you do have any fat in the liver, which I don't know if you do, because you have to do an ultrasound for that, you'll find that within even 2 weeks, you can reduce like 50% of the fat off the liver if you do the ketogenic diet correctly. So there's a lot of things you can do for the liver, but I would stick with the TUDCA, the milk thistle, and I would do low carb, and then get it retested. I think that enzyme will come down, but there's not a lot of things you can do medically to reverse liver disease, because everything is involving toxicity. So really the natural way is the best way to approach this. And a lot of the foods that are good for the liver are like the cruciferous vegetables, microgreens, sprouts, and healthy proteins like eggs and things like that too. Eggs are really good for the liver. And so is grass-fed beef. That's really good for the liver too, because it has the choline, which will protect the liver. So those are the things that I would suggest. And I think that can turn things around for you.
Now, because the uracil does water down the bile, should I stop that and just take the TUDCA?
That's a really good question that I can't tell you not to take it, but I would just research the side effects from that, and then research TUDCA, and then you make up your own mind based on the data, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you look at a wider viewpoint on this, and side effects and benefits.
Okay. And my one last thing, how many milligrams of each of milk thistle and TUDCA?
Well, they always come in different amounts, so I would just simply follow the directions on the label, and whatever is recommended, I would take that.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your advice.
Sure. No problem.
That's great, Gloria. It's always sort of upsetting to hear that your liver enzymes are kind of elevated. But what's truly horrifying is middle school kids. So good luck to you as you go back to them, or whatever grade you are dealing with. That's a wonderful pursuit. And we're going to bounce right over to this week's first quiz question. And Dr. Berg, here it is.
Okay. If women have a genetic mutation for breast cancer, why do some women get cancer and others don't? I mean, if you have a genetic problem for cancer that increases the risk, well, I mean, what is that determining factor, whether you get it or you don't get it? Is it just luck, or is there another reason?
Well, I hope we all find out. Okay, let's go to social media. And this is from YouTube. Kicking off from YouTube, Monica wants to know, are there any solutions to getting rid of granuloma annulare sickness? Ever heard of that, Doc?
Just vaguely, but I don't have any experience, and I don't know, other than the fact that I would recommend implementing the basic eating plan as the most important thing for any of these conditions, just simply because the significance and the importance of that diet is like way more than the average person thinks. So I would get on the basics and then see what happens. But I don't have any experience or any results in that condition at all. So unfortunately, I have no comment on that.
All right. Well, Monica, best of luck on that. Do your research. And then let's stay on YouTube with Amy. I am now 50 and taking 300 milligrams of niacin to lower my cholesterol. Can I take it every day for the long term? Is that good stuff she's doing?
Yeah, you can. You can, because there's very minimal side effects at that amount. I mean, and it's really a very well-researched molecule in the area of cholesterol and lipid profile. So there's just a lot behind that, and it's a great thing. I honestly, I would also add to that a natural B complex, because, and I'm not biased at my own in the keto energy, but the B complex helps to, anytime you take one B vitamin out of the complex, we don't know, but there could be like some alteration in some of the other factors. So as long as you take some base of Bs, I think you'll be even better off than just taking one specific vitamin to address that cholesterol.
Wonderful. Wish you all the best. Okay, let's stay on social media. And my thing just flipped down. Oh, here we go. Chocolate chip from YouTube. My husband, cookie dough. No, I'm kidding. Our husband has 3 simple cysts on his liver. We've reviewed your liver videos, but can't find any that address this condition. Can you please address this issue?
I think there's another reason to download that free app, because it's hard to find my videos sometimes on YouTube, but I did several videos on cysts. The body's trying to wall off some infection or microbe or toxin or something like that. It's a protective mechanism. And so the best thing to do is to search out my videos. I think it might be under biofilms. But that being said, I would follow the protocols for the liver body type. And I have videos on that. And do that for a period of time, because sometimes those cysts can go away. Sometimes they don't, because they're benign. At least you won't grow new ones. But it's just it's the body's protective mechanism, and people get them in the kidneys as well. By the way, TUDCA has some interesting research also relating to decreasing cysts as well. But realize that's just a remedy. You want to implement the diet. Make sure the diet is the first thing you implement.
All right, very good. Well, we have others in the green room that are all across the contiguous United States, but guess who else is joining us? And we'd like to say a hearty welcome to people calling in or watching or listening from the UK, Canada, Mexico, Cambodia, Australia, Romania, the Virgin Islands, Colombia, Slovenia, Poland, Spain, Norway, the Dominican Republic, Tria, thank you, Terry. He's always giving me phonetically spelled things because he knows me. South Africa, France, Nigeria, the Netherlands, Japan, Ethiopia, Germany, Belgium, Greece, Italy, Egypt, Sweden, Brazil, Bermuda, Portugal, Nepal, India, Pakistan, Azerbaijan, he put here. Well, moving on, Kazakhstan, Peru, Russia, Taiwan, Switzerland, and all across the United States, as I mentioned. Thanks to everybody. And no doubt we'll have some more people chiming in to say hi from their various country or nations around the world. Okay, as we expected, the audience is very adept and leaps right on these questions. And the first question asked, if a woman has a genetic mutation for breast cancer, why do some get cancer and others, luckily, do not? 70% of our respondents say lifestyle and dietary choices, under like Mr. Chocolate Chip Cookie up there, and 15% say environmental influences, and 15% say a diet high in sugars. Are they onto something?
You know, they're all onto something, and it's really the epigenetic. That means above genetic. Those are the things that control it. That's the lifestyle, the environment, and even the, believe it or not, the mindset of a person. That's like a huge, probably the most important thing. Because if I don't know, if Steve, have you ever heard about that experiment where you take two separate plants grown in the same soil, same seed, same environment, but with one plant, you're giving it compliments all day long, and the other one, you're just critical, fault finding, whatever, to this other plant. And do you know there's a huge difference in the growth of just by, saying these things to the plant? So just think about what people do to themselves, right? They sometimes they don't have positive thoughts about themselves. So that mindset, being positive and having a good, strong will over things, control over your mind, is probably the most important thing. This is probably why some people can get away with smoking, drinking, and they don't seem to have any problem. Other people do. But the point is that the epigenetics, which is like your lifestyle, it's what your environment, the stress, your foods, that is the stuff that you can't, even with breast cancer, they don't really emphasize it. It's all about, well, let's get early testing. Let's remove the breast tissue. Let's put you on drugs. Let's do more testing, mammograms, and create more trauma. It's like, what about the epigenetics? Let's focus on that. I really think you could literally bring down that risk factor close to zero if you just change your lifestyle. So whether you get a test for these genes or not, it's a good idea just to change your lifestyle right now. But sometimes, Steve, this might be hard to believe. Some people don't always change when you tell them the first time. You almost have to kind of repeat it a few times.
Lori, my wife's been trying that her entire course of our marriage. Good luck.
Right. I know. It's usually your spouses, but we know personally, we just jump right on it the first time we're told.
Absolutely. I'm always compliant. Although my houseplants appear to be staring at me now, doctor. You may be nervous. All right. So let's go on with another question since they did so well with that. And here it is.
Okay. What is the best food to eat if you have a genetic marker for breast cancer?
Okay, folks, jump on that. And let's go back to social media. There's so many great questions on there. I wish we could get to all of them. But let's take Carolyn from Facebook. Do you have an opinion on internal parasites and diatomaceous earth?
It's a good remedy. It's a very good remedy for parasites. It works. These parasites are exposed to this thing, and it literally cuts their internal, it just destroys them from the inside out. So it's a really good crystallized powder that will you can use for insects and even parasites. But that's a good remedy. But parasites, we all have them to a certain degree. It's just a matter of keeping our defenses against them. And so the best thing is to take a good probiotic or eat foods that are filled with probiotics, like the sauerkraut, the kimchi, kefir, those type of things. But there's other remedies too. The black walnut hull extract, garlic, a really good remedy for parasites. But there's many different plant-based herbs that are anti-parasitic. But build up your gut, and then also good stomach acid by maybe taking the supplement. Betaine hydrochloride is another really good thing to make sure you don't have any parasites that slip through the barrier of the stomach acid when you eat foods.
All right, very good. A GI7 is the moniker from this person on YouTube. I've been on OMAD for almost a year now, but I find that I'm cold all the time. What can I do to overcome this reaction? They didn't mention whether they lost weight or not, but skinny people get colder faster.
Typically, if you're on keto and you get cold, you just need more B1. B1 tends to handle the tolerance to extreme temperatures, as well as to help increase if you're too cold. So like, let's say, for example, for some reason, you've heard about this great therapy of an ice bath therapy, right? And for some reason, you just can't do it. It's just too painful. It could be because you're B deficient, or you go out in the sun and you get overheated easily. That's a B1 deficiency. So we got B1, and then also iodine from sea kelp might also help you. Those two things.
Okay, here's an interesting question. Gail from Facebook, do you have any advice for someone who has to take meds at a certain time while trying to do keto and IF? She did mention the medications.
You got to be pretty healthy to take medication nowadays. So what I would do, and I had a video on this, for those people who take medication, you should also, and I don't have any specific advice when you should take it, maybe with meals or without. I think more importantly is to take things that will help decrease the complications of medications to, especially your liver and kidney. And that would be some of these phytonutrients like milk thistle. Milk thistle is a plant that has a certain phytonutrient that kind of counteracts all the free radical damage and toxicity and things like that. So that's why I like milk thistle. It's like it's a perfect antidote for poisoning. Like if you happen to be poisoned for some weird reason, just get some milk thistle real fast. Or if you had a snake bite, milk thistle. Or maybe a tarantula, you have around crawling in your house. Make sure you have plenty of milk thistle to counteract the venom.
Very good. By the way, Dr. Berg had a lighting expert come into his place there, and his camera shot just looks fabulous. Good for you, Doc. So they're worth their time. Okay, we leave no one out. Shout out to our viewers also in the Philippines, Jordan, Sri Lanka, Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Trinidad and Tobago, Oman, Kuwait, and last but not least, Guyana. So welcome, folks. If there's any other there, shout out. Terry, we'll type your name in and we'll make sure we acknowledge you. Andrea, can hypothyroidism, boy, I'm not doing it today, turn into Hashimoto's? I said that right.
Well, it doesn't necessarily turn into it, but you can have it's 90% of the time, if you have hypothyroidism, it's going to be Hashimoto's. So it's not really a thyroid issue. It's an autoimmune problem that's affecting the thyroid. So there's a little different correction that I would recommend. So you'd want to take more selenium than iodine for that. But some iodine will be helpful, but not too much. So I did a whole video on that, but really many times it starts in the gut, and there's definitely this interesting connection between the gluten in the grains and things like that you definitely need to avoid like the plague.
Okay, very good. Judy from YouTube, why am I experiencing diarrhea on the carnivore diet? I was on ketovore, if you acknowledge that, Doc, for a year and then switched over to carnivore. It's been easy except for the pesky diarrhea.
The only connection that I can think of with that is that your microbes are not able to, you know, be supported like maybe some of the fiber in the vegetables, because these microbes tend to eat fiber as the primary fuel. They can eat some collagen and things like that, um, but the fiber is what helps to give to feed them and to help as a prebiotic. You know, you don't really think of meat as a prebiotic. And also, if you're on the carnivore, are you on it because you have gut issues? If you are, then you better find out how to do it correctly, because you don't want to just have, you know, animal meat. You want to have like the eggs, fish. You want to have like organ meats. You might want to do shellfish, seafood, things like that. And that should help you. Um, yeah, that's what I would recommend.
All right. Well, the audience had a recommendation for answers for the second question of the day, which asks, what is the best food to eat if you have a genetic marker for breast cancer? And the audience wasted no time with 65% of our respondents saying it's cruciferous vegetables, 20% say grass-fed beef, 10% say oregano oil and ginger, and then the final 5% say sulforaphane.
Well, everyone is right for sure, and sulforaphane is one of the phytonutrients in like broccoli sprouts and cabbage. But the cruciferous vegetables, hands down, have the most potent remedies based on research for cancer, especially breast cancer. Why? Because from many angles. One, it acts to inhibit this little enzyme called aromatase that is responsible from converting testosterone into estrogen. So if you can inhibit that, you'll get less estrogen. Also, the phytoestrogens in the cruciferous act to balance the estrogen. So you go from the stronger estrogen to the weaker ones and the more protective ones. And the cruciferous have stimulate your own body's genes to detoxify things that can cause cancer. So they're very, on many different levels, it's the best thing. And I think it's not hard to do. And let's say, I know this might be shocking, some people don't like vegetables, in which case they can do the sprouts. And all you need is a small amount of sprouts to equal the same phytonutrient benefits as a large amount of adult vegetables. So anyone can do that. And that's what I would recommend.
Okay, here's an important question, I think, from YouTube. What are the best foods to address depression? What a rotten condition that is.
The first thing that comes to mind would be vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D. There is another remedy that has been known to be very, very effective, and it's called methylene blue. Methylene blue. I'm going to release a video on that. It's the first synthetic drug that ever was developed in medicine. But there's some interesting properties. It will make your urine turn blue, but apparently it's really good for depression. But vitamin D is really key. Also light therapy. And that would be the most potent. So what foods are high in vitamin D? Well, you have salmon, cod liver oil, things like that. But there's not a lot of foods that have vitamin D in them. So enough anyway. So you might want to just take that as a supplement, like at least 20,000 IUs. Now, if that is your problem, right, and you take like 2,000 IUs of vitamin D3, and you're like, yeah, I tried vitamin D, it didn't work. Well, I've been doing a lot of evaluations in people that have DNA problems, and I'm finding hands down the great majority of them nearly always have problems with vitamin D in the converting the inactive to the active, in the absorption, which means that the average person that I've tested at least needs to take a larger amounts of vitamin D than they were before to create the effects that they're trying to create. So depression, anti-inflammation, immune system, very, very important.
Okay, very good. And folks, I do recommend Dr. Berg's D3 and K2 because it's 10,000 IUs. A lot of times you'd have to eat a whole handful of stuff from the the local supermarket to achieve that level. And Dr. Berg's done a lot of research on this, and there's a lot that supports it online. So there's a great one. And again, Dr. Berg's so shy to push his own products, but we all think they're great. And so go to drberg.com and get a bucket full of that stuff like I did, and I feel great. And Bron, we really hope that you're well supported in overcoming depression, because that is no fun. It's no way to go throughout the day. So we wish you well and hope that you write us back and let us know. Why don't we go out to California and talk to Shraddha, cool name. She's from California. It's very early out there, so we're going to put her on the air now. Please go ahead with your one question in 30 seconds, Shraddha. You're on.
Hello, Dr. Berg. My question for you is, for the past 4 months, I've been having a distressed gut, a lot of bloating, inflammation. Multiple things might be going on. My general physician was suspecting diverticulitis, some kind of SIBO. I've been on keto, intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting, on and off. I'm vegetarian, and it's hard for me to sustain just on keto. I wanted to check with you. I've lost a ton of weight in the past 4 months, like about 15 pounds or so. I wanted to get your opinion on how I can heal myself naturally, especially given that I have that vegetarian restriction, and going forward with keto for my natural healing.
It's probably the hardest question, the biggest problem to solve is if someone has gut issues. Typically they have inflammation in the gut, possibly, and if they do, they need to do carnivore. But they want to do carnivore, but they're a vegetarian or a vegan. So how do we do carnivore being a vegan? That is the question. But you said vegetarian, right? So you'll eat eggs, right?
I'll eat eggs, yes.
Good. Thank you. You just solved the problem there. Yeah. If you just, you should do an experiment for 2 days. Just eat eggs only and see if your gut problems go away. And if they do, then I need to convince you to change a little bit. But are you doing it for what's the main reasons why you're doing this vegetarian diet?
Growing up, I've never eaten meat, and I've tried giving it a chance, but it just makes me nauseous. I mean, okay. I'm just not very. I have a mental block. I'm not able to.
There's something about nauseousness that you just don't like.
I'm not able to ingest any kind of meat at all. I gave it a shot. It doesn't work.
So this is a better reason than some other reasons, simply because there's some other reasons it's harder to overcome. But I did evaluate someone fairly recently, same exact problem, and they just, every time they eat meat, they just have problems, right? They have like a reflux, or they have nausea, or they have, well, guess what? That means that they don't have the pH in the stomach to tolerate meat, to digest meat. And if you try to eat meat without enough acid, oh my goodness, you're going to reject it like crazy. You're going to feel terrible. And then you're going to decide to become a vegetarian. What happens is that stomach pH is not acid. You also can't absorb minerals, so you become anemic. You can't kill off microbes. So there's a lot of problems. So here's what I would do if I were you. I would start taking betaine hydrochloride as a supplement, maybe 2 or 3 with a meal just before you eat. Just like maybe spread it out, like with one bite, take another one, chew it, swallow it, take another one, take 3. And then each meal, increase 1 more of that betaine hydrochloride until this bloating thing goes away. I think your main problem is just not enough stomach acid, and that's creating all the digestive issues. And then what might happen over a period of 2 months is you may be able to start adding more different types of protein into your diet, whether it's fish, maybe some type of lamb or meat, but do it slowly, because I think without that stomach acid, you're going to have a problem. that might be the biggest clue, what you just told me. But yeah, because what you're going through right now is there's so many things in the diet, if you're a vegetarian, that are going to bloat you.
Right.
So we want
Let's
to avoid that.
assume if I want to start from right now, you said I should start the betaine hydrochloride 2 or 3 pills per day. If I'm just doing eggs, how many eggs can I do? Like, I mean, for my weight, 100 pounds.
How many meals a day? Are you doing 2 meals?
I try to do 2 meals, but when I'm doing intermittent fasting on OMAD for the rest of the days, but for 2 or 3 days, I'm doing two meals.
Okay. So see how you feel by having 3 or 4 eggs. Would that be enough meal for you, or would you need?
Currently, I'm doing up to 2 eggs, and so far it's working okay.
Good. You can increase it to 3 to 4 and see how you feel. Maybe you put some ghee on it.
Yes.
You can do ghee, right?
Yes.
Maybe salt and pepper, and actually, it's sounding pretty good to me. Yeah, that's what I would do. But I really think eggs are really easy to digest. But that betaine hydrochloride, I think, probably has been missing for your whole life, and so now it's like, okay, your body's just not designed to do that. So you want to acidify that slowly over a period of time, and then watch what happens. You won't react to protein. In fact, you might even crave it.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Berg.
You're welcome.
Boy, our guests are behaving so well with their concise question, which keeps things interesting. We have time for things like this. Now, I sent this picture to Dr. Berg bragging last night about my final IF meal and hoping for some great praise. He said, "Where's the salad?" Dr. Berg, have you seen the price of lettuce these days?
Good
for goodness
meal.
sake?
Well done, Steve. You've done good. That's great.
Okay, the brownie was just off screen. No, I did quite well yesterday, so I'm very proud of that.
Yeah,
okay, let's
you
go.
did really good.
Yeah, wonderful. That's what I was looking for. Here's our next question.
Okay, so why does a vitamin B1 deficiency cause a person more stress, more flight or fight mode? So why does that deficiency create more stress in your body when you're deficient?
Okay,
what's happening?
Climb on it, audience. I know you got an answer. Let's see. Bill from YouTube, what's the best way to treat colitis?
By avoiding something, not by taking anything. And this is an interesting thing with the gut inflammation. Like people always say, what can I take for it? No, it's what to avoid, because you're eating something that's creating inflammation. And usually it could be something involving like the omega-6 fatty acids, like oils, soy oil, canola, corn, things like that. And that would be in fried foods, stuff like that, or the grains, or beans, or possibly even certain greens and vegetables. So watch my videos on that. It's a process of elimination. Start eliminating things and see what makes you better. I had serious inflammation in my gut as I was consuming on a regular basis one of those long French bread, baguettes, whatever you call them. I mean, I would just down one of those and, without even thinking twice, not even connecting that could be causing inflammation when I was severely intolerant to gluten. So gluten in the grains is one of the only proteins that humans can't digest. So can't digest it, and you have a lot of it, even though it makes that bread nice and gooey and delicious. Boy, it comes with a price. Sourdough bread has a lot less of it because of the fermentation. So this is why people don't react as much with the sourdough. Not that I'm recommending it, but I'm just kind of giving you how you reduce it.
All right, very good. Linda from YouTube is 73 and has been diagnosed with Crohn's. Ouch. I've been taking D3K2 and your gallbladder formula since. I don't have one, but I'm experiencing a lot of joint pain. What do I need to do?
a lot of the absorption of the omega-3 fatty acids, like from cod liver oil or fish oils, happens in the gut. So you might have some malabsorption. So you're taking the bile salts, that's great. But there's some other things that could be causing this stiffness and arthritis, etc. It could come from oxalates, from spinach or almonds or certain nuts. So if you have arthritis or stiffness, I think you're going to be you're going to be safest if you stick with like some really basic foods, like certain types of salad that are like a wide variety of different salads, and meat, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, sardines, seafood, shellfish, and then keep it like that. Don't add too many nuts. Don't add too many other things. And dairy might even be an issue with you. So keep it simple and see if it doesn't go away from that.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Rachel from Facebook, when I'm fasting, should I just stop taking vitamins?
If you're doing long-term fasting, you want to take vitamins because you don't know if you have that reserve left in your body. If you're low on, especially like electrolytes, for example, or the B vitamins, and you do a fast and you do it for 3 days, what's going to happen? You're going to be very deficient. You're not going to do as well. You take the vitamins and nutrition while you're fasting, then you're protected. Now, intermittent fasting is completely different, because you could potentially, you eat certain foods can get the majority of your nutrients from those foods, but it's not easy. You got to really know, what's in what. I mean, especially like the food nowadays, like where are you getting your iodine? Where are you getting your selenium? Things like that are not easy to get.
Okay, very good. Audience, as usual, is on it. Our number 3 question asked, why does vitamin B1 deficiency cause a person more stress, more flight or fight mode? And the audience is in complete agreement. 100% of our respondents say B1 calms the nervous system and helps control our cortisol levels. Thus, a deficiency naturally creates stress.
Yes, but there's another mechanism that's actually very interesting. I want to share with you. I'll do a video on this as well. A B1 deficiency creates huge problems in certain parts of your brain, especially the brain stem. The brain stem is very vulnerable to a vitamin B1 deficiency. And the symptom that you're going to get is almost identical to a hypoxia in the brain, which is a lack of oxygen. So think about this, Steve. If you don't get enough oxygen, let's say being choked or you're underneath water, wouldn't that necessarily trigger the stress response a little bit?
Ugh, certainly would.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So if you're not getting B, it's like you're not getting oxygen. And it's like panic attacks, adrenaline, not sleeping, can't breathe that well. This is why when you're under stress, B1 is like, I would get a natural one, is the best thing to take, a nutritional yeast or some other way, but it really brings the stress down very quick, pulls people out of this sympathetic dominant flight or fight mode. And in addition to controlling your breathing, the B1 is like the next best thing for stress.
Okay, let's do our first true-falser today, and it's asking the following. There you go, Dr. Berg.
All right, here we go. True or false? Apple cider vinegar helps prevent and break down kidney stones. Is that true or false?
Well, I hope it's true. That sounds great. Okay, Loretta from Facebook, is coconut oil high in omega-6?
No, it's not. I wouldn't worry about it. It's a good thing to cook with. And so, no, it's not high in 6. More of a saturated fat. And then the unsaturated fat, the ones that are very susceptible to oxidation, are like the soy, the corn, the canola, the cottonseed, the safflower, the sunflower. Those are very, very inflammatory. And they're they go bad real quick and they can go rancid, but we process the heck out of them. And when you eat those oils, you're eating something that's really refined in a concentrated amount. It doesn't have like the phytonutrients that it started out with to counter all these complications of oxidation, free radical damage, and that type of thing. So just like even with fruit, people say, well, what's so wrong with high fructose corn syrup if, fructose is in corn? Fructose is in fruit. Why can't I have fructose in high fructose corn syrup? Because fruit also has the phytonutrients to protect you from all the side effects from that fructose.
Interesting. For the benefit of our audience, could you expand on omega-6? I take it that's not good. And where would you find that? What foods?
Omega-6 is one of those things, one of those types of fats that has been introduced in our diet fairly recently because of the shift of saying, well, saturated fats are bad, so everyone needs to switch to unsaturated fats. But here's the problem. We need a ratio of like a 1-to-1 of omega-6 to omega-3. Omega-3 are like the cod liver oil, the fish oil, right? So we need this ratio. But an average American it's like, I think it's at least, don't correct me, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 25-to-1. It's up there. It could be 50-to-1 for some people, but we're so heavy on the omega-6 fatty acids that it competes with the omega-3. So that's why not only do you have to take more omega-3, but you also have to avoid the omega-6. So I'm sure it's really easy to do, and I'm being very sarcastic, because if you go to the grocery store, try to find a food that doesn't have omega-6 in it. So the salad dressings, the mayonnaise, all these other foods, they have, like even hummus. No longer do they put olive oil, they put safflower oil or corn oil in there, or soy oil. And here you are consuming so much of that. So we're consuming way too much of this 6, and this is creating problems with your eyes, called macular degeneration, creating artery problems. And here's the thing, these omega-6 are fats, and they're worse than sugar because they get lodged in our cell membranes in our brains for a lot longer than sugar. Sugar doesn't really get stored at all. It's like you can exercise it off. But these oils can stay in your body for up to 600 days.
Ouch.
So you can imagine it takes a while to get it out of the system.
Okay, very good. Well, boy, the audience is astute as always. They're ripping through these questions. And this is a true falser. Apple cider vinegar helps prevent and break down kidney stones. And the audience, 95% of them say it's true, and 5% are holding out and say, nope.
It's true. I found a really good study on that. And because I've been really promoting if you have a kidney stone, add that lemon juice, right? The lemon juice, because of the citrates, which are really important, and avoid oxalates. But apple cider vinegar just happens to, which is acetic acid, happens to affect the genetics, your genes. It's an epigenetic factor to greatly improve the reabsorption of citrates. Those citrates are the thing that will, it's kind of like a chelator. It kind of binds with the calcium in your urine, and then it makes it so it can't bind with the oxalates. So now you can't develop kidney stones. So if you have a kidney stone, usually you have high oxalate, high calcium, and low citrate. Those are the 3 things. So this is a really simple thing to do. So you have this in the morning when you have your water or whatever, and you put the lemon in it. Just add the apple cider vinegar always with it too, because there's the combination is going to help you. And then I put my electrolyte powder. Not that I'm biased at all, but the electrolyte powder also has several forms of minerals, and the magnesium and potassium come in a potassium citrate, magnesium citrate. So you get this alkalization effect, which will actually help you even more because a lot of times these stones develop in an acidic environment. And so if we alkalize it with the citrates, now we have this powerful, effective compounding effect over kidney stones.
Okay, very good. Audience, we have 15 minutes left, and here's the plan. We want to make sure we get to all our questions. So first off, we're going to have Dr. Berg read this out. Then we're going to go to our green room and get Natalia and Kim. And then we're going to have a absolute marathon of social media. So if you all can rip this out quickly, we're going to get back to social media and wrap the show up with that. So Dr. Berg, there is our final question for the day.
Okay, why is milk better than water in kind of neutralizing this burning effect after you eat hot peppers? So you've ever eaten some have you ever eaten hot peppers, Steve?
Oh my God, I love it. Burn my lips off.
Yeah, and then you ever drink water right after that?
Well, as a kid, I got trapped, suckered into eating something gruesome. But in the meantime, I've really been able to tolerate it. I love spicy food, and I guess it's not really bad for you, is it? On average.
Right, and then the water actually makes it worse.
Ouch. So
the question is, why would milk help reduce this burning sensation versus water? That's the question, and I want to. It's an interesting answer, so I'm going to see if you guys know it already.
I'll just bet you the audience knows that. That's terrific. Okay, now, Kim, we're going to go to you in Los Angeles, and Kim, ask you to be brief with our short time left. So one question in 30 seconds. Go.
Hi, Dr. Berg. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so excited. Okay, so basically for about the last 4 months or so, I've been waking up with heart palpitations. And it was kind of worse in the beginning. And then I went to the doctor. They did blood tests. And then he said, oh, I also have high blood pressure, or not high blood sugar and high cholesterol. So, and they're sending me to a sleep study. And they're also sending me to a cardiologist just to make sure everything's okay. So that's my story. But I'm wondering, I'm trying to be brief. So I'm wondering, I'm literally waking up. And I have to breathe it down. It was worse, but now it's getting a little bit better because I'm trying to, take some of your stuff that you're talking about.
Okay, good. So here's what I would recommend. I would recommend potassium, a lot of potassium and magnesium. It's an electrolyte powder. Okay. I think that's going to be important. But if we take a look at what's behind that, usually what depletes you of potassium is that either you're not consuming enough of the right foods or you're consuming too many carbs, which deplete your potassium. So I would definitely get on the healthy version of keto immediately with the electrolyte powder, because that's going to help soften the arteries to help blood pressure. But more importantly, it will feed the pacemaker the electrolytes that you need to keep the heart in rhythm. So that being said,
it's only, I'm sorry, Dr. Berg, it's only at night. Is there a reason why it's only at night?
Yeah, there's that's the other reason why people get more cramps at night, and they have more problems with breathing at night. There's a circadian rhythm effect that I don't want to go into the complexity of it, but that affects your mineral levels more in the night during the day. And that's probably why everything is exaggerated at night.
Yeah.
And sometimes also some people don't even feel them at night. One last thing to check for with heart palpitations is that I have an EMF tester. I don't know if it's around here, an EMF tester. I wish I had it. I could show you, but
yes, I did that, Dr. Berg. I watched one of your videos and I did that. I'm sleeping on the opposite side of my bed now. Like my head's where my feet are. And I noticed I was using my computer a lot and there's some frequency coming from this huge plug-in thing. So I'm like, oh gosh, so that's another thing I'm paying attention to. So
yeah,
that's sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, because it's I had this heart rhythm thing, and I realized the wall right in back of me had electromagnetic fields that extended 8 feet from the wall. So I literally ripped all these wires out of the wall and had them fixed, and it was like instantly gone because I was doing all these other things first. And I'm like, why do I still have this thing? But I will say that that computer or anything with a large battery and you're next to it, can affect the heart. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Berg. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
That's great. Thank you, Kim, for participating so succinctly. That would really help the show. Okay, let's see now. Oh boy, we got to all of our quiz questions, and here the final one asks, why is milk better than water in helping the burning sensation of eating hot peppers? And 85% of our respondents say the fat in the milk coats the stomach and the throat and helps neutralize the spiciness. 15% say it's the protein in milk that accomplishes the same thing. And all of our Indian and Latino folks say, who cares? It's delicious. I agree with them. Love that stuff. But for the rest of us,
so it's actually the protein and not the fat. The protein, casein, it's really a chemistry thing. The chemistry interacts with the receptors, and it helps to neutralize the burning effect on your receptors. So casein. So that being said, something better than milk would be like cottage cheese, which has way more concentrated casein. And if you have some cottage cheese around there, put that in your mouth, and you'll find that the burning will go away a lot faster.
okay, very good. Let's see. Let's go to social media as promised. Then we're going to get to you, Natalia, just a moment. So let's see. High in omega-6. We all learned about that. Let's see here. Sorry. 73-year-old. Oh, here we go. Cassandra from Facebook. I have half of an operating thyroid due to goiter. The other half is enlarged. Ouch. The only marker out of range is the TG antibodies. I want to preserve the remaining portion of my thyroid. Any suggestions, Dr. Berg?
Of course, I'm going to say you might need some iodine. The thyroid will enlarge if you're low in iodine. But that being said, if we're dealing with an autoimmune or autoantibody situation, you might benefit from a product that I'm not associated with this company, Standard Process, but they have a product called Thyroid Trophin PMG, which is interesting because you take it and it goes into the stomach and acts as a decoy. So your antibodies that are attacking your thyroid now go, hey, wait a second, let's go after the ones in the stomach, and they leave your thyroid alone. That way the inflammation can start coming down, and you can also at the same time start taking more vitamin D3 to reduce the inflammation. And now we just have a better strategy for this autoimmune thyroid problem.
Okay, that's terrific. Hey, Natalia, thank you so much for being so patient with us as we try to get to everything. In our last few minutes, if you would quickly give us your one question, 30 seconds, Dr. Berg is going to change your life. Oops, I think you're muted, dear. If you could unmute yourself. Let's see.
Yeah, still says muted. I think there's a button on the lower right.
Yeah.
There we go. Right now.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question's about my husband. He's on healthy keto, intermittent fasting, and prolonged fasting since June 2022. And he lost 80 pounds, and he had a high blood pressure and high cholesterol level. My question about, he did the advanced lipid profile, and my questions about his blood test. Can I read this blood test? Hello?
I had a hard time understanding the question, Steve.
Something about a blood
do you know what the
test.
question is?
Natalia, were you talking about a blood test for your husband?
Yes. My husband had a blood test. He did an advanced lipid profile. And can I read the result? And I want to know, doctor prescribed the statins, and I want to know your opinion about it.
Yeah, so he's on a statin now.
Okay. And is it just a problem with cholesterol, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I give you this test? Can I read this test?
The problem is I didn't want to get into like lab results because that's a long answer to evaluate. But I'm going to tell you something, right? I'm assuming that he had high cholesterol, or it could be high LDL or triglycerides, whatever. The first thing is he on keto? Is he doing a lot of carbs? If he's on keto and he had this cholesterol problem, they want to put him on statins. What I would do is I would do another test called the advanced lipid profile test and look at. He did that. Okay. So did he find that the large buoyant LDL is higher than the small dense LDL lipoprotein, or was it just what?
Small low dense lipoprotein particle less 19.
Okay.
And
So,
high dense lipoprotein dash C 89.
so the large buoyant is 89.
Small low density lipoprotein particle less 19.
No, I got that, but it's the large buoyant LDL particle size.
Large buoyant.
Yes, 89.
Large dense lipoprotein size 22.2.
Yeah, good. So it's higher. So this is what you want to see. So the large buoyant is not pathogenic. It doesn't create atherosclerosis like the small dense particle size does. So even though, they're looking at the total LDL, but they're not focusing in on the ratios. And it looks like he has a good ratio, which means that it sounds like he's fine. And then if you put him on a statin, now we're going to, and I'm not telling you not to take it. I can't tell you that, but I'm telling you that the statins have a lot of complications with myopathies, muscle problems, fatigue, and increased risk of calcified arteries. So that's just the data out there. So you have to make your own mind. But the other thing is when someone takes a statin, it depletes their coenzyme Q10, which then they don't get as much heart protection. And they better be taking the coenzyme Q10 because that's really what takes, it's kind of like it binds with the LDL and that's how it's transported through the body. So now we're going to eliminate that. We eliminate the coenzyme Q10. Now we have all these side effects. So I would watch my latest videos on the LDL because there's just so much confusion on this area. And sometimes the doctors are stuck in the old theories that you need to find a doctor that really understands. Even there's cardiologists out there that you can get consulting from that will give you the true picture of this LDL.
Wow,
especially as it relates to the particle size.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Natalia. And just I brag to the audience, we're going to try to get back to social media. How about one more question? And this comes from Felipe from Facebook. I get a pain in my left shoulder when I eat too much. How do I fix this problem? That sounds odd.
Don't eat too much.
There you go. Drum roll, please. Oh, I think that makes sense. Well, Doc, we're about out of time.
So, we have 1 minute left. I just want to tell you, I did a study. I'm doing a lot of studies now. Did a study on sprouts or microgreens. Okay. And I wanted to know, like what's going on in a microgreen as far as the microbiome, bacteria, and other microorganisms inside plants, right? You might not think that they have a microbiome, but they sure do. So I'm looking at these results and we're sorting it out. And I'll do a video on this, but I was literally shocked to find out how many different species of microbes that are in plants that you eat in your salad. I mean, it's really interesting. It's almost like a probiotic. So when I saw that list, I was like, if an average person really knew that about the microbes inside the plants, it's just like wild. So stay tuned for a video on that with a lot more videos on interesting topics. But I want to thank everyone for sticking around this long. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you soon. And we're almost at 10 million subscribers on YouTube. So I will release a video out when we hit that target. But thank you and have a wonderful weekend.